Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. I always got to look for some reason, like, how old am I getting? Well, between the laps.
Well, I think behind the lines.
Behind the lines, it's between the laps, because sometimes it's going to be funny and sometimes it's not, and sometimes about what falls in the crack. I don't know if these are going to air in sequence of how we do them, so if they don't, just understand that about 4 to 5 of these in a row, we've been trying to do an episode on immigration. We both want to do it. We both are like this, ready to go with all this information, but it hasn't happened. I was doing a podcast earlier, and then all of a sudden, after the podcast does, we walk away, and he's like, hey, man, was Charlie Cook or John, what's the name of the guy?
The politician guy, James.
Yeah.
Oh, not politician, but he's a speaker, very right-wing speaker.
The very right-wing.
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. I said Charlie Cook.
So it's
Charlie Cook. Kirk.
No, Kirk. Because it's September 10th right now. This probably happened 4 hours ago. It's very, very, very new.
So 4 hours later, he was assassinated. And this one is... You know, it's funny. This is how times have changed. That... Had this happened when I first started doing stand-up in the early, late 80s, early 90s, even in the 90s, this wouldn't have caught fire because we all would have had to go to some network, whatever your network of choice was at the time, and then watch the news to see what they talked about it, and all the footage we would have had was of that.
Yeah.
But... this is one that back in the day they would have put on a video called Faces of Death or something. Remember those videos?
Yeah.
This would have been one of those.
Yeah, because it's
a
hard video to watch.
It is, it's out there and it was live and it went out. So every single person has the ability to see that man get shot in the neck. And of course, we got to talk about this because we are the opposite of that, right? We as comedians represent the complete opposite of all these people that think, that's how to handle it. Because we handle it with words.
Yeah.
Right? We handle it with jokes.
That's our weapon.
Would you say, because I think that it's too simplistic to say, you guys make fun of. Sometimes it's not making fun of. Sometimes we're going with. Sometimes we're going against. Sometimes we're pointing it out.
Sometimes it's just a conversation.
Yeah, you're right. And it's a sophisticated way of doing so, but it is. But this one, no pun intended, really, really triggers me. And so many levels to this. First off, what the fuck is wrong with these kids and people today that think we live in a John Wick movie?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree. Like we can make fun of anybody and everybody.
Sure.
This is not the outcome we want for anybody.
No.
Because all he was doing was speaking his mind, no different than you and I are speaking our minds right now.
Right.
That's all he was doing.
He was putting out his beliefs.
Yes.
Whatever those beliefs are. And you know what? I believe, we'll go through it as much as we can and go through like the permutations of it and why and this whole thing. But I got to address that first. This isn't a movie. By the way, whoever this person was that did this, they didn't change anything. As a matter of fact, you fucking idiot, you made it worse. Assuming that it's a progressive who wanted to quiet a conservative, if that's the case, right? This is really early, so there's going to be a lot of ifs and what ifs. But if it's the case, from what we see, that it was a very, progressive, liberal guy doing a conservative, you think you stopped the movement? You didn't. You're turning this guy into a martyr. You're turning this guy into a talking point.
Yeah.
And every single person who's a conservative is going to come out and turn it into, see, this is what they do.
Yeah.
This is how they act. When they can't shut you up with intellect and words, they shoot you. And I don't know, because one of the things that I was taught by my father, and I quote him a lot, by the way. He's a very, very, very super intelligent man. My father used to say to me, when your mother gets angry, that's because she lost. That's why she's getting angry. She doesn't know how to say something to me that's going to change my mind, so she gets angry. That's when you know, mijo. That's when you know. And I've always like followed that. And I've heard many versions of that. Like once you start getting pissed off, you lost.
Yeah.
You lost the argument. You just don't know. Now you're just turning it into, you know what I mean? It's Trump turned it into something different. Trump turned it into turning it around and pointing it at you and calling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You a flaw. So his version of it isn't not to get angry. His version of it is, hey bro, what's up with your hair? What's up with your little dick?
Yeah.
Like that's his way of doing it.
Very elementary.
But why do people think that if you kill this guy, like in a movie, oh, it's gonna go away? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It just exponentially add to somebody else on the other side wanting to, like the what was the Clampetts and not the Clampetts,
The Hatfields and McCoys.
the Hatfields and McCoys, right? Doesn't it just get like, and maybe it's because I'm sensitive to it, but I literally yesterday just finished watching the whole series, Sons of Anarchy, right? The whole series, and basically. If I'm giving shit away, I'm sorry. If anybody's like, oh man, I can't believe you gave it up. You had time to watch the fucking series.
It's a decade old.
Exactly. So in watching it, bro, the whole point, or one of the main points of it is this kid Jax, wants to get away from the violence.
Okay.
His father didn't want him to be in this violence. He doesn't want his kids to be in this violence. What he inevitably learns, and if there's a lesson to be taught, one of them in this viewing, is that violence begets violence, vengeance begets vengeance, shooting begets shooting, and it never stops. It's not like you killed my son and I killed your son, so now we're even, right?
Yeah.
That's not the way it works.
Doesn't end there.
It works like the first Godfather, right? When he was there and he's like, I want to put an end to all of this. Yeah. What is this going to do? You lost the son, I lost the son. Squashed it, right? Yeah. Supposedly. And that's when he gives but if anything were to befall, if lightning would, I'm going to blame some of the men in this room. But what happens in the end? His son kills everybody. So it doesn't end there, right? This is just a piece that does. What fucking mentality is happening now that people think if you shoot Trump, the conservative thing is gonna, and thank God that we do not have any idea how this country would have reacted had Trump been actually, assassinated. Yeah. Thank God we don't know that. But this shit, and by the way, not a conservative thing. Happened on the other side as well. The guy that went, that beat the shit out of, what's her name? Her husband, because they thought, that he was there. Yeah. Representative from California.
Don't remember the name. I'm not very political, but I know this is a big topic. I know this is a big deal.
There's a lot of violence going back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's only going to grow with this.
Yeah.
But what is it about this time and place? Do you think it's that we're being inundated with all these movies about this, that people actually believe if you kill this person, you're going to silence that voice?
I'm just curious on the guy that did the shooting. What was he hoping to accomplish? This guy, from the little bit I know, was 31 years old, had a wife, 2 kids, and his family was on the campus, by the way.
I know.
When this happened. So I'm just wondering what did you think was going to be accomplished by doing this? What did you fix? Who do you think was going to, the only comparison I can think of is that Luigi guy who, that guy was screwing over so many people in pharmaceuticals. So both sides were like, okay, we kind of get it. Like if this guy was screwing people, now we're talking about somebody who was just speaking at a university to people that wanted to hear him speak. That's it.
Yeah. Just talking.
And somebody wanted him dead. I'm hoping that at least he thought he was accomplishing something positive, at least in his head. Probably definitely had a screw loose, but still. The opposite, I guarantee the opposite is what's happening right now.
Of course. It has to be. I mean, there's no way. there's no way that conservatives right now are like, oh my God, we're gonna have to stop being as aggressive and conservative, and we're gonna have to stop. Do you really think that our president is gonna take this moment and say, guys, this has to stop? We have to stop speaking to each other this way. We have to stop thinking that we're the enemy just because you believe that making America a better country is kicking all these undocumented aliens out. And this person believes, no, they're actually a big part of the fabric of this country. And in a country that has the declining, we need, they're both trying to do the right thing. They're just coming about it at the different place, right? It's when me and my wife sit there and go, how do we discipline this child? And I go, we're going to take away his computer for 2 days or for 2 weeks. And then Amy goes, well, you can't do that because he has an iPad as well. So you got to take the iPad. And if he doesn't have his iPad and his computer and we got to take up his phone, then how's he going to access information to go to school because he uses that for school? And so it's like we both want him to understand.
But both intentions are good. Both parents, and I think that's exactly how politics works. In your brain, this is what I'm hoping to accomplish. Now multiply that by thousands, millions of people where your decisions, and that's the shitty part about being a politician, not one decision will make everybody happy.
Never. You have to deal with the fact that you're dealing in numbers and percentages of negativity.
Like example, Obama's big thing when he was president was to make sure that every American had health insurance.
Right.
Who doesn't want that? Yet,
right,
there was opposition.
Correct.
That this is not the right way to go. It's not going to be perfect. You're talking about insuring 400, 500 million people.
Right.
Of course it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
But at least let's get the ball rolling.
Right. But sometimes, right, it's, by the way, her name was Nancy Pelosi. Sometimes it's the enemy, right? They say the perfection is the enemy of it, right? Trying to make something perfect and saying it's not perfect, it's not perfect, it's not perfect. Well, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That's never, ever going to be something. Nothing will ever be perfect. There will always be somebody that falls through the cracks, somebody that is disadvantaged by disadvantage. Yeah. Some people, depending. I think it's more about like try to get the numbers. But as you said, right? What happens is that we do this zero-sum game when it comes to this. And you know what it's like? It's like the people that go, I hate Trump so much that I hope none of his shit works. Well, if none of his shit works, that means our country's going to be eating some dick.
That accomplishes nothing.
Right.
You want this guy to fail.
I don't.
Whether we love or hate Trump, it doesn't benefit us if we want him to fail.
Correct.
We can hate him all we want. We can love him all we want.
Right.
Wanting him to fail, that's
wanting America to fail.
Because the same thing happened during Obama.
Right.
Just, if you're going to Deep South, just because he's black.
Correct.
I want him to fail.
Right. And because, he's not an American. And see, these are all the ancillary things that happen that create that distension, right? That space between the two. Here's one of the things that I think, right, is the ramification of it, is that because of the anonymity of the internet, there's going to be a lot of support for this moment. And that's disgusting. That's just disgusting that in our country, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, good, that's awesome. This is another person that it should happen to. When, as you said, a mother's wife's life was just destroyed. 2 children.
2 kids have no father.
And their dad was 31. So they're kids. And I pray, bro. I'm being touched by this because I had some moments with my sons yesterday, and it really affected me emotionally. But God, if those kids were watching,
heaven forbid. Like that's at that point, that's what I'm hoping is that they were not even in the area.
I pray, bro. I pray because I cannot imagine. Could you imagine, bro? I mean, okay. Full disclosure, I have seen people get shot before. I have held people in my arms. Not a person, more than one, while they take their last breath. I have seen anger. I have seen two dudes go full at it with machetes, and some of them were family members. But it was in Honduras, and Honduras to me was like the wild, wild west. You know, when I was a kid, going to Honduras was literally going back in time. You know what I mean? So, and it was by phases, right? So we would get on a 737 here, and then we would fly on TWA, or an airline called Sunrise Airlines, I remember, and then we'd fly to Miami. And I remember as a kid, the plane that flew from Miami to Honduras was a prop plane with 4 prop engines.
Yeah.
4. So I'm in America, go to the airport, LAX, at the time, bad, restaurant in the middle, whole fucking amazing. 737 airline, boom, pretty new, giving you free shit. Here's some cards, have some fun. You know, here's a little patch. Yeah. This is America. Then all of a sudden, we're going to Honduras. There's the plane. Blah, 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 blah.
You're on the Datsun Love of the air.
So now I'm like, okay, that's the first downgrade, right? That's the first visual. Boom, I'm going down. Then we land in San Pedro, and then we would take a smaller blah 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 to La Ceiba. Then we would end up on this tiny little 5-seater, a little Cessna 806 or 608, one of those. Anyway, where they literally would be like, "¿Cuánto pesas?" Y no me mientas.
Yeah.
Which is how much do you weigh?
Because now I got to say I'm 1,200 pounds because I know this bitch is lying.
And these are the planes that literally, if you don't say, like, it could literally cause an accident.
Yeah.
Right? 50 pounds, give or take. Because at the airport where we were, it's a real airport, long runway. But where we're landing, in Seco, it's a cow patch.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park.
Literally, we would have to go and do flybys to get the animals off, right? So we're doing flybys, and then, you know, we land on cow shit, and then there, no electricity, no, you know, it's the Gilligan's Island, not a single luxury, right? Middle of nowhere. And in a culture of, I'm a man. Yo soy hombre. So, you know? And then, ¿qué cabrón? Pues yo soy hombre. Yo también. And all of a sudden, bro, somebody's getting shot. So, I've seen it. And it affected me. But it's watching a father like that. And if you watch the video, and I'm not saying you should watch it, but if you watch the video, it's 1 second in time that will change the life of so many people irrevocably.
Yeah.
And it will, I mean, fuck, dude. That poor goddamn kid. Yeah. I hope to God they didn't. So, what do you think about this? I think that one of the things we need to learn, and comedians, you know, we fell into this trap too. We used to flow, in my opinion, back and forth on that, right? I thought that we were pretty good at being able to kind of poke fun at everybody. And I think that at some point in the 90s, some point in the early 2000s, we started getting political, one side only. You know, where the comedians would go on stage and just make fun of the left or just make fun of the right. Or you had guys like Dennis Miller, who was on the left and made fun of the right, and now is on the right and makes fun of the left.
Yeah.
But it's very few comics that I know of. Do you know of any that kind of glide between both? I mean, no. I don't get political, but I do go, I'll make fun of both liberal and conservative.
But you make fun of stuff that they, like Trump did, or stuff that Biden did. You use like, and I purposely don't follow politics because I don't want to have a stance.
Right.
I that's not something I want to speak of. But like if Joe Biden falls off his bike,
right,
low hanging fruit, easy to talk about.
Sure.
You know, if Trump misses up a name, low hanging fruit, easy to talk about. But it's not taking a stance on either side.
Correct.
And I think most comics fall because I'm a firm believer that if you pick a side, why are you eliminating half of your audience?
Right. 100%. What would be what's the point of that?
There's, now you're cutting your money in half. Now, why are you? We're fucking ourselves in the process of having a stance.
Yeah.
Or having, and not even having an opinion, because we both have our opinions,
Yeah.
but we keep that to ourselves.
Right.
It's like there's a great joke you do. It's like I'm conservative about my daughter, but I'm liberal about your daughter.
It's a great joke.
Yeah.
That's a great. I mean, I know I wrote it. I'm not being. You're right. It was, but it really happened.
But it's a simple way to describe. Like, I didn't even know who the left was and who the right was.
No.
And not until I just associated right with R Republican. That is literally how my head worked to remember.
Right.
Okay, so the Democrats are the left and the Republicans are the right.
Right.
And I'm almost embarrassed to say it's not that long ago that I just realized what that was.
You know what though? It's complicated. Like, especially with comedians. Listen, one of the most important things about being an American to me is the fact that you have the right to vote. And I know that a lot of people are like, one vote. You know what? There have been in my lifetime more than a handful of recounts that ended up in literally a handful of votes making the difference. I believe that voting is one of the fundamental things about being an American. I've never voted, even though it's that important to me. Do you know why?
Why?
Because it's more important that I have the ability to go on stage and use my freedom of speech to make fun of any motherfucking politician that I want to. And when people from either side come at me with the shit, I can look at them and go, hey, I'm not defending anybody. You can go check my record. I made fun of from, I'd say Biden, but, from now, Trump, all the way to probably Reagan was the first person that I made fun of as a comedian. And every single one in between.
Yeah.
And I have the integrity of saying, no. You can't say that I'm on the right or on the left. None of you can. Because I don't even know. I've never voted.
Yeah.
On purpose. So that's how important it is to me to maintain that ability to be able to make fun of whoever it is. How do you say only conservatives are stupid or only liberals do dumb shit?
Yeah.
Like, even with the shooting, we can go back and find a conservative that tried to shoot a liberal. We can go back to the vice versa, and it goes back and forth. I just think that it's so stupid that people think it's like some movie that it's some fucking Italian mob story. If it's the Baba Yaga, listen, the problem, it's solved. No, that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is conservatives now have the ability to say, look at these motherfucking liberals, and then liberals are going to have to say some shit like, look, that's never a way to address the thing, and nobody condones the but, and then after the but is going to be all the reasons why it's okay to shoot these people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, after that but is going to be like, but he did say this, and he did say that, and he did say this. No, there is no, these are words, unless he said, go stab a homo, go shoot a Mexican, go, punch a black guy in the face, go, unless there was an actual thing to, like a call for arms, they're just talking.
Yes.
Let them talk.
Yeah.
I was talking to Amy about this, my wife, the other day, about racism, and she goes, they should shut down that voice. And I'm like, no, you should let that voice breathe. Because I pray that I'm right. But I would presume that if somebody who is really hateful, who is really, really hateful, came and started, saying this stuff, or calling to action to hurt people, that this country would go, whoa, a bridge too far.
Yeah.
And I believe that because of the Epstein stuff, because of the Epstein files. The Epstein files have not gone away because conservatives who are supporters of Trump are like, no, dude, we need to know if you were a part of that or not. And the reason is because they're actually saying, you know what? We don't give a shit about all this ICE stuff, everything that they. But if you fucked a child, that's too much for us. That's at least, okay, there's a line, right? Brings a little hope.
Yeah.
Does it give you a little hope that there's kind of a line there? I mean,
Also knowing how politics works, what if this poor guy that was murdered today is just a deflection on, let's say, the Epstein files? Just as an example, hypothetical.
oh, that's going to be a conspiracy theory that's going to come out in all the, in the left wing,
And what's even more
blogosphere and all these podcasters.
The bigger disheartening part are the politicians that are going to use this to push their agenda.
And it's going to happen.
And I think somebody lost his life, and
Yeah.
and politicians are just salespeople. And how do we get to sell? How can we sell this? How can we swing this?
Yeah, right now, there are a fuckload of people having a shitload of meetings.
And
those meetings are exactly what you're saying. Somebody is getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit in some of those meetings and say this. As tragic as this was, this is a positive thing for... What the fuck? And this is how we can take advantage of... You know that's happening right now. You know that there's somebody that is like, I have a way to take this, flip it, and turn it to our advantage. Disgusting. I believe, first of all, I'm really, really proud as a comedian that one of the things that is a part of Carlos is that my crowds are very diverse. Like, there's always a mix. There's some places more than others, but I'm not the guy that when you go see, it's going to be a bunch of Latinos watching me perform or a bunch of white people or a bunch of... It's going to be a decent mix, and it's because everybody feels like we're going to make fun of them.
Yeah.
We're going to get We literally end our shows here in Vegas by saying... He goes, is there anybody you haven't fucked with yet? And then I come out and go, let me massage that a little bit. Is there anybody here that feels left out?
Let me do me.
Right? But it's funny that his perspective is like, who did I fuck with? My perspective is like...
anybody not offended yet?
Yeah. Is there anybody that feels like, hey, you left us out? And interestingly enough, a lot of times when I say, is there anybody that feels left out? There'll be somebody that'd be like, hi. Like the other day, I was like, what about the Irish?
Nah.
And we're like, oh, there's an Irish out here. And then we told an Irish joke and we went there. And like, it's that. I love that. And I have friends that are conservatives. I have friends that are Trump supporters. And I don't hate them at all. Don't get me wrong. I love triggering them. But that's human. That's comedian shit.
We all love fireworks. We like to light the fuse.
Right? This is comedy 101.
Yeah.
This is who we are. We like fucking... Like, I got a friend named Raj. Right? Suraj. He's fucking just Trump diehard from the beginning. Like, he was the first person that looked at me. I remember we were in Sacramento. We were looking at each other. He looked at me and said, Trump is going to become president. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And he was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, no. And when he gets mad, his voice gets higher. And he was like, what are you talking about? And then he's mad, like, you don't understand. And then when he gets that, I just look at him and go, and then it kind of brings him down. But like, if I was political, I don't know that I would agree with all of his politics.
You and I are the same. We're both down the middle.
Yeah.
We agree with some of that. We agree with some of that.
Yeah.
But that's no different than, I like a little right side. I like a little left side. Like, we have black friends. We have Latin friends. We have white friends. We have, like, we are not stuck. We are not so loyal to, let's just say, our own race that we only talk to our race.
No.
And I think I'm trying to create an example, and I don't know if I'm succeeding. But just on, it's like saying I only talk to my own race.
There's a lot of people that do that.
And so and obviously they're called Trumpers for a reason, because they are so blinded that everything he does is right, that I've never heard about this about a
Their
president.
identity. Think about this. If you're a Trumper, I don't care about that. But you are literally stating that your identity is the last name of some other human being.
That's file bankruptcy a lot of times.
That's what you're claiming. Do you know what I mean? That would be like me saying to my dad, Papi, I'm and then just say a last name of some other crazy shit, you know what I mean? Papi, I'm a Jefferson. Chingas estás diciendo, cabrón?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I am. Well, you're a Mencia, pendejo. Yeah. No, I'm a Jefferson. Like, he would be freaked the fuck out. But I guess what I was trying to get to, and I want to see how you feel about this. I think that you and I, right, as comedians, and let's take what we do together, right? We do a show together every Tuesday and Wednesday on the Strip at 10 o'clock. We do a show together. That brings it. But even when you do other shows, especially when you do the Dirty at 12:30, the biggest show you do, it's dirty that brings people together.
Correct.
It's not left or right.
No.
It's not politics. It's not. It's, and dirty doesn't really mean dirty. What dirty means is
freedom.
They could. Oh, that's the best word.
It just means freedom. It just means freedom. We're
gonna allow these comedians to be free to do and say whatever the fuck they want. That's it, right? I bring it from the opposite perspective of I am gonna talk about every single thing I think is funny, period, end of story. I don't care, right? I mean, up until recently, I'm not doing the bit anymore, but I was doing the bit, remember, about how no president has ever made this country that much better. No president has ever made this country that much worse.
Yes.
And I literally go through the presidents of my lifetime, starting with Nixon.
Yeah.
And I went all the way through, right? And made a joke like about every single one on the way up, right? That's my thing. I think that this internet led to niche marketing, right? Because before, so let me explain to the people, and we're old enough that we can talk about this. Stand-up comedy used to work like this. I'm going to go perform in Houston, Texas, late 80s, early 90s. Oh, there's these two guys on the rock station, Stevens and Pruitt. They're the number one show in this place. And if you get on that show and you kill, you're done. And so then somebody else will go, hey, but if you go to the Kiss FM, that's the one where like everybody listens to, not just the edgy ones. And so as long as you went to those two, you were good. If you added the R&B station, you're sold out for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? For the rest of your life. Like, I mean, for decades at least, you're done. That's that's how big and impactful those three stations are. That's all you had to do. Right? And you didn't even have to pay. Because you're a comedian and you're bringing something to the morning show.
Yeah.
Then it became, well, we want to bring a comedian every week. So then it became, well, then we got to figure something out. And then it became, well, you guys got to pay now. Because that's basically an advertisement. And then it became the internet. And then it became niche marketing. And then it became, instead of spending $2,000 to blanket everybody, who is your audience? Oh, women. Oh, women, what age? Women from this? Kids. Women between this age and this age who have 1 to 2 children. That's your thing? Boom. We're going to put this into an algorithm. We're going to figure out where, oh, here we go. And for $200, we'll reach all those people that are your fans, so to speak. The problem with that is it just brings those people there. They're the only ones that know the show is there.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like me going on Spanish radio stations only and saying,
great example.
Vamos a tener y va a ser en español y que le importa y si viene gente que no puede hablar español, pues que chingue su madre porque yo no les dije en inglés que vinieran a. So there you go. Boom. Done. That's not it. So I think that, right, as most things in life, right, is the yin and the yang, right, that create the circle. That's the negative side of it. That niche marketing. And how do you market? Like, do you niche market to or are you just anybody and everybody?
It's anybody and everybody because it's just social media. It's like since I run a free show, it's not like I have a budget for advertising. So I use Facebook, I use Twitter, I use Instagram, I even use TikTok now. I love having to get used to another fucking platform.
I know.
But that's how the advertising gets out, and just as people, and I create. It's like in my case, I created the headliners that weren't headlining here. So now, it took me a couple years, but now you either come for the Dirty at 12:30, or you come for the headliner that I have. Like I have Jason Collins this week, or next week I have Corey and Chad the Smash Brothers that are now names because of my show.
Right.
Hey, the Twins are going to be here. Now we have to go to that Dirty.
Right.
Not a Dirty, that Dirty.
Right. Gotcha. So you're planning to do, and I think that's what I try to do. Right.
But it's different now. Like if we're talking about the 80s and 90s where radio was such a powerhouse and such a great,
Yes.
now we've evolved because now there's Sirius XM. Or there's Spotify, or there's Pandora for them to get their music, or their own personal playlist where we don't listen to terrestrial radio. Period.
Actually, the numbers aren't as bad as you think. For terrestrial radio, there's still people listening to it, especially people that want to hear local stuff. The problem with radio, one of the biggest problems is they used to be local, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't care. And then stations started being brought up, and then all of a sudden there was syndication. And then all of a sudden, look, one of our best friends, or at least one of my best friends, and you know Tino, he's benefiting from that. He's syndicated in 96 markets, right?
Fucking amazing.
And I looked at him and I went, let's just theoretically say that they were paying you $1,000 per market per month. That's $100,000. I know they're not giving you $1,000.
You know he's getting more.
So let's just say you're making $2,000 a week. Let's just say we're getting $1,000 a week from every one of those. That's $4,000. That's four. And I looked at him and I went, holy shit. And he went, yeah, we're doing pretty good. I was like, damn. I was like, holy shit. But he's benefiting from that. But I think that the world is not benefiting from the fact that separating people from the herd and being able to just connect with them based on algorithms, based on whatever, is separating this country and the world instead of uniting it, right? It's not bringing us together.
It's a prison mentality. If all the citizens of this country are the inmates,
right,
and the politicians are the guards,
right,
the safety for the guards is in the segregation.
Right.
Let the Mexicans and the blacks and the whites police each other. Let them hate each other. That's all that's fucking happening.
It is. But now that they're getting targeted, do you think, and I mean, it would suck if this happens on one way, but it would be cool if it happened on the other way, right? Cool that. Do you think something like this might scare these politicians into going, you know what? I don't want to get shot. I'm going to fucking speak differently.
Well, if these politicians would just fucking remember that it's not their opinion, they represent the people.
Right.
And the people will revolt.
Right.
They will fight back.
Right. But do you think that there will be politicians that'll say, shit, I need to check my rhetoric. I need to use different words. I need to tone this shit down. I need to go to that stove and, that is way too loud.
Just remember that you represent people. It's not your opinion. When you see commercials, call your congressman. Let them know that you don't agree with this.
Right.
We've all heard that on radio commercials, TV ads.
Yeah.
Call your congressman. This is their number. Because their job is to represent us, not just whatever their opinion.
I mean, I hope that people get a little scared that they might get shot and they change, but I believe the opposite is going to happen. What we talked about in the beginning, that they're going to use this and they're going to manipulate it and they're going to flip it and they're going to turn it, and it's just going to lead to more anger, more bullshit, more you're my enemy. And I really, really wanted to talk about this. I believe that you and I, right, and we can speak of our generation as a whole, but let's just be you and I personally. I believe that you and I benefited immensely from having a decent sized family.
I can't picture anything else.
Because think about, I can tell you every one of my brothers and sisters and some annoying shit that they do, right? Some shit that bothered me or a thing that they did when I was blah, blah, blah. Like, but I love them. Like, I would never not want my sisters to be my sisters and my brothers to be my brother. And even Albert, my adopted brother, basically, right? Like, him even the most. Like, you're my brother. Like, he'll look at me and go, dude, you're my brother. I'm like, I know you're my brother. We're cousins, but it's my brother.
Yeah.
But the fact that, you know, we don't agree on shit. All of us. I mean, you can imagine when my family got together, and, you know, and at least 6 or 7 of the girls and 4 of the boys of the 7, you know, 5 of the boys, you get us together, bro. And there's going to be a lot of disagreements.
Yeah.
A lot of shit. That's like, oh, no, not like that, and blah, blah, blah. But as heated as it ever got, the love for each other was never missing.
Yeah.
And I think that it taught me personally, to be the comedian that wants to be funny to everybody, not just a segment, but that because one of my sisters vehemently disagrees with me about certain things in politics, I don't love her any less.
Yeah.
I think she's fucking wrong when it comes to these opinions.
But they're opinions nonetheless.
But they're opinions. And they don't anger me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at her like, do you fucking know? Like, whatever. That's what you believe. Again, I go back to, I know you're a good person. I know that you're trying to make things better. I know that you believe that this is how to make things better. Just like I can literally sit here and look at the world and say, as much as my mother Magdalena, you know, disciplined me when I was a kid, and how harsh some of those disciplines were, I know that she was still trying to raise a good man.
Yeah.
That was the way she knew how to do it.
Like if we're just using the presidents as an example, think the Bushes that were Republican, Obama Democrat, Clinton Democrats, Biden Democrat, all those, I'm using those minus Trump for now for the sake of this example. Whatever little political knowledge I had, they left me believing that they were doing what was best for the country.
Right.
I don't believe that with the current presidency, and I hope I'm wrong. It doesn't benefit anybody if I'm right. I feel like he targets his audience and wants a specific audience to succeed more so than anybody else, and I can't say I've done bad during the Trump years. I've been just as successful during the Obama years as I have during the Trump years. So financially, I don't give a shit.
Right.
But and I know a lot of the decisions, I mean, they're surrounded by yes people and they're surrounded by educated people. But what do you leave the populace feeling?
Right.
Obama, I felt if Obama was screwing me over the whole time, holy shit, he sold it well.
He hit it well.
He hit it well.
He put that BBC inside me with so much lube. Yeah. I never felt it.
Yes. and that's it. Like, at least,
right.
You know, if you gotta lie to me, make me feel good about it.
Right.
And it's just that it's the political climate where people are actually taking a stand. Where before most people were just like, okay, he's right about that. He's wrong about that. That affects me. That doesn't affect me.
Right.
I care. I don't care.
Right. I believe that Trump wants to be successful in this endeavor because he knows that if he is, the stamp of Trump in the United States of America and the annals of the history of this country will be bigger if this country, you know, is hugely successful, the tariffs work, the immigration stuff works. Like, if all this stuff works exactly the way he thinks, I believe that where I think that schism where you are is, and it feels like you're right, is that he cares a little bit more about middle-class white America, you know, than he does about people of color, right?
Yeah. And you and I are here legally. There's nothing that can be done.
No. But this is why we say that, by the way. I say it. I say it because when he took out an ad for the Central Park Five that they should be killed, right? That there should be a death penalty for them. All right, I get it. He was pissed. He thought a bunch of black dudes killed a white person. I get it. I understand where that anger came from. I don't agree with it. I think it's illogical, but I see. The minute they were exonerated and that DNA evidence came out and said it could not be them, and he didn't apologize, to me, that says
Perfect example.
volumes about who he is as a human being. Because he's basically saying, you know what? And I think he said some version of this, if I'm not mistaken. He said something to the effect of, well, maybe they didn't do that, but you know they were up to no good. That's some shit. So that's you telling me, you know what I mean? This whole illegal immigration shit. Latinos are the vast majority of undocumented aliens in this country. But there's a huge percentage of people that come from Asia, Chinese, huge, right now especially.
The Philippines?
The Philippines right now. Biggest number of people coming into this country illegally, staying their visas, Philippines, right? But that's not who's being targeted. Being targeted is you and me, right? It's the joke that I told way back in the day about Prop 182. And I had this conversation with my friend, and I was like, bro, I'm not an undocumented alien. You are. You overstayed your visa, bro. You're supposed to be back in England. And he was like, but it's no for me. I was like, get the fuck out of here. It's exactly for you. Yeah. But his view of it is that same view. So the reason why we believe that Trump is an exception to this is because I'll frame it this way. I believe Trump wants the best for America, but I believe that Trump believes America is predominantly middle-class white people, not all these other people. And I'm only saying this based on what he says, how he behaves, and his policies. So it's not like this is an opinion of mine that just comes out of nowhere. This is what it feels like based on what he's doing. Whereas to the others, as you said, it felt more everybody's an American.
Yeah. My fellow Americans.
Yeah.
My fellow Americans.
Right. And that was it.
Why did I fall in love with Obama? That's how I started. My fellow Americans.
Yeah. And you felt it though, right?
You believed it.
You believed it. Like whether it was right or not.
Whether he was doing shit behind the scenes.
Correct.
Because
he was believable.
He was believable. Like he said more. It's like Obama said more illegals back than Trump has.
Right.
As of today.
He was the chief and deporter, right?
Yes.
Wasn't he called known as the
like that.
chief and deporter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was never a big deal to me because my family's here. My family's here legally. That is not a topic I give a shit about.
No, me either. Plus, coming from a Latino family and having people, let me put it to you this way. When somebody in my family gets deported, I get really fucking upset. Do you want me to tell you why? Take a guess at why I get upset. Tío Carlos, guess what happened?
Oh.
Why do you think I'm upset?
No.
You know? I gotta find out the coyote. Yeah. I gotta get him a fucking thing. Yeah. I gotta figure out if I can fly him to a certain place or not. I gotta be like, all of a sudden, this is like, God damn it! I gotta pay for this to get back here.
And I remember the racial profiling during Trump's first administration, because the example they used was Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, because at the time they were together. And
wait! I missed this.
At the time that Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber were together, it's like, so if you were to pick. If we were an ICE agent back then, there's still immigration. Who would you racially profile to send back? Justin Bieber from Canada or Selena Gomez, born in Texas?
Right.
And that was the topic that was going on. They would leave Bieber alone. They would deport Selena Gomez.
Oh, see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's the kind of shit that leads us to believe.
And all these ICE agents, they're not asking you for ID. They're racially profiling people, and they need to get them out in bulk to meet the quota that the president has set.
Yeah, and they can't even meet it. Look, first of all, if And this is the problem. You know what? It's getting to immigration. We got an immigration
That's
show to
one.
do.
That's the next one.
It's next one, I swear to God. But what do you think is the solution to this bipartisan left-right? I'm a Trumper, I'm a this, I'm LGBTQ, as opposed to connecting to our humanity. And it's easy for us, right?
I think, and I think I was just talking about this earlier with the guys behind the scenes when you were doing the podcast earlier. The only way the United States can truly unite is if there was an attack on American soil, if there was a war where we're involved. The only way the whole planet can get back together, Independence Day, aliens attack us.
Yeah.
That is the only way we're all on the same team.
I remember when I was at the Comedy Store. So this was 90s, maybe early 2000s. And I remember saying how sad that was. I remember being in the original room, and I had gone on stage just after Paul Mooney. And I remember, doing some stuff about politics or whatever. And then I remember saying, like, you know what makes me sad is that an attack on this country would unite us immediately. Where the left and the right and everybody would forget about all this stupid shit, and we would immediately...
Because we have nothing to complain about. We need to find shit to complain about.
It's half my act, bro. It's half my act right now.
The United States is one collective Karen.
Right now it is. Bitching about bullshit.
About nothing.
About stupid shit that makes no sense.
There was a decision that Donald Trump made in the past week where the big headline was that his family gained something like $8 billion in wealth on a decision that Trump made that changed stock markets and obviously shit, and he's manipulating the system. The best idea for a podcast that never existed, Stock Tips with Nancy Pelosi. If you really want to help fucking Americans, fucking help us.
Right.
If you tell me I could invest $1,000 today on the next Tesla, the next Apple, the next Microsoft,
Right.
where we could be successful,
Right.
why not?
Right. No, you're right. But we don't see each other. I mean, we do as comedians, like I do. Like when I step on a stage,
We want everybody to benefit.
every single person,
Why don't these politicians want to?
every single one. And I never, ever, especially now, step on a stage. I can say that when I was younger, maybe it was like, oh shit, there's a lot of white people. I grew up in East LA. So that just looked different for me.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about months into comedy. After performing at the Comedy Store for 2 to 3 weeks, that shit was gone.
Yeah.
It was mixed crowds from everywhere, all over the country. You know what I mean?
I came up in black rooms. I thought those were the hardest rooms to do, but they're the only rooms that would let me perform when I started out. And once I got their shit talking down, I felt bulletproof.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, so black audiences were the easiest and the hardest.
And the hardest.
Right? They were the hardest because the minute you went to some comedy club, Mavericks Flats. I remember I went on Crenshaw. Oh, bro. I remember the first time they brought me up, man. And the audience, I literally, there was like 600 people in that room, and I literally heard 3 people when they say my name. Right? And I stepped on stage, and I was like, listen, you guys don't like it when white people treat you the way you just treated me, so I'm going to pretend that people that know about oppression and know about racism just forgot for a second. I'm going to step off stage, and you're going to give me the goddamn round of applause that anyone deserves that you would give me if I was black. And if after that I suck, then you can boo the shit out of me and do everything that you're supposed to do and do your na-na-na-na goodbyes. But until then, show me the fucking respect that you would want if you were at a goddamn white room and you were a black comedian. Boom. Then I don't remember who it was, but he came up on stage and he was like, oh shit, I told you motherfuckers he was real. You better give it up. And then I came up and bro, like me. when I'm that guy.
Yeah, when you're in a hole, I'll get myself out of this
Oh,
hole.
bro,
Don't you worry.
Look, bro.
I
getting
got
him.
you
I'm
guys.
getting him, bro.
I got you
That's
guys.
me. That's all me, bro. Oh, that is all. That's a shitty crowd. Dick hard.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody's had him harder. Like, I don't think you're gonna get him. Oh, bitch. Let me turn into my opener, Kaylin. Okay. I don't understand why we want to run to our little corners. I enjoy talking to people that differ from me. I enjoy hearing their stories and why they believe what they believe. It's interesting to me. And as you said, I realize that they're, like sadly, in the worst fucking way. And there is no way, shape, or form, and no condoning, nothing of the sort. Just an observation. The person who did that shooting today thought in his heart he was doing the right thing. And that's the sad and sick part of it all. That he is probably sitting there just like some people thought, oh, well, yeah, this guy was killing people that, kill people because of what they do, and the CEO. And, that's not the way it should work. And anybody that even condoned in any way or made it seem like it was condoning or even was like, I understand when it came to Luigi, to all you conservatives that were like, hey, we can understand. Do you understand this one? Are you okay with this one? Because these things just beget each other. And it's just going to keep fucking happening, bro.
I'm a big fan of that series, How I Met Your Mother. I keep watching reruns. Mm-hmm. And there's one line that just says, love is the best thing we do.
And it is. It is because when you love, at least when I love, I ask for nothing in return. I literally love, and all I want is happiness for that person that I care for.
For everybody around us, anybody that comes to our show, anybody that we have contact with.
Every single person that we meet, we try to make happier. That's who we are as comedians. Like, that's what drives us.
Our life is based on the opinions of strangers.
Yeah, our self-worth.
Strangers.
On people we've never met before. Tonight, you and I, as happy as we can be, as cordial as we can be, as in a good place as we can be, tonight's audience can shatter us.
Yeah. Shatter us.
By just not laughing. By just literally looking at us and going,
we are physically affected by it.
Your humanity is so non-congruent to anything I believe. I have no idea what the fuck you're saying. Yeah. And that will kill us. Because we'd be like, oh my God, like, shit, like, am I so out of touch that I can't connect with these people? Yeah. Like, what did I do wrong? How could I fix it? What did I do?
And we still have to detach. You had a bad day yesterday. You had a lot of stuff happen in the past 48 hours. We're smart enough to know, what if that happened to somebody in our audience?
Yeah.
They can't know that about us.
Correct.
We need to help them forget.
Yeah. I guess, you know what? This is a self-aggrandizing statement, and I understand it, but just based on my experience as a human being and what we're talking about, every human being should learn how to love the world the way most comedians love the world. And this world would be a better place because of what you just said. We are not about our own happiness. We are about others. Because last night, if it was about my happiness, I would have went up on stage and said some really fucked up shit about some people that probably deserve it. No, they do deserve it. And a lot of hatred would have come out. But that face you're making, thank you. That's all. You don't have to say anything. You're right. You guys need to learn from comedians like us, those that want to be funny and happy to everybody, because what we wish is for people to be able to disagree and still love. not get along about everything, but still love.
Yeah.
That the love for humanity supersedes all other actions. Hopefully, we change one person's mind. If one person's mind was changed by what we said today, bro,
I hope so.
we did something good, man.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man. Love you guys now. See you next time.